Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. All our viewers, please like, share, comments and subscribe our YouTube channel Moonlight Studio so that you could get notification about every new release. Scientific analysis of jinns by a scientist, very interesting, must read. The jinn are creatures of Allah. This is our belief. They were created from fire. They also have demons and good qualities. Much has been written about it. This thread is not about that. This thread is about the scientific interpretation of jinns. Are they among us? And more importantly, why can't we see them? The word is derived from the word, invisible, and from it came words like heaven or fetus. Why don't the jinns finally show up? There are two possible reasons for this. The first reason is that human vision is very limited. Allah Almighty in this universe has created electromagnetic systems under which there are 19 types of light under the electromagnetic spectrum, of which we can see only one type of light, which consists of 7 colors. Let me tell you a little about some of the most popular types of lighting. If you are able to see in gamma vision, you will begin to see the radiation in the world. If you are able to see the famous light in X-ray vision, you will be able to see inside the thickest walls. If you start looking in infrared vision, you will see the heat emanating from different objects. Another type of light will have the ability to see ultraviolet vision, which will enable you to see energy. In addition, the ability to see in a total of 19 types of lights, such as microwave vision and radio wave vision, seems to feel superpower. If all the things found in the universe were absorbed within 1 meter, the human eye would only be able to see things within 300 nanometers. Which simply means that we can only see 0.0000003% of the total universe. The light visible to the human eye is called visible light and is a very small fraction found between ultraviolet and infrared. There are creatures in our world whose visual spectrum is different from ours. Animals, snakes are animals that can see in infrared, just as bees can see in ultraviolet. Most of the colors in the world can be seen by mint shrimp's eye. The American cook can see 180 degrees at a time. The domestic goat can see up to 320 degrees. The chameleon found in the trees can see in 2 different directions at the same time, while the deer called prongs found in Africa can see the circle of the planet Saturn in a clear night. Now you can imagine how limited man's sense of sight is, and he often cannot see what animals see. According to Hadith number 3459 of Tirmidhi, the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, "When you hear the rooster crowing, ask Allah for its bounty, for it speaks only when it sees an angel, and when you hear a donkey barking, seek refuge in Allah from the rejected Satan, because he is watching Satan at this time." When I studied the structure of the chicken eye, I was surprised to learn that the chicken eye is much better than the human eye in 2 ways. First of all, while the human eye has 2 types of light receptors, the chicken eye has 5 types of light receptors. And the other thing is the fovea, which helps the eye to recognize something that is passing very fast, so that the rooster can see things that give light and move very fast. You will see that although the donkey eye is not better than ours in recognizing colors, the donkey eye has a much higher ratio of rods, and that is why the donkey recognizes trees and shadows in the dark. Now you can imagine in their eyes, the ability to recognize darkness in darkness is far greater than ours. However, the human sense of hearing is better than the sense of sight, although it is still inferior to that of other animals. And about half that of a human being, from 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. And maybe that's why people who report incidents with jinn mention whispers more than watching. The frequency of a whisper is about 150 Hz, and this is the frequency at which a person begins to lose control over his mind. A clear example of this is ASMR therapy, which relaxes your mind with 100 Hz whispers. At the beginning of this thread, I mentioned 2 possible reasons why you can't see jinns, one of which is I stated, but before I make another statement I want to explain a little theory. In 1803, a scientist named Dalton proposed a theory that matter could be the smallest and most invisible unit, and Dalton named this unit the atom. 100 years later, a scientist named Thomson identified more tiny particles around an atom called electrons. Then, 7 years later, Rutherford estimated the nucleus of the atom. Only 2 years later, a scientist named Bohr reported that electrons revolved around the atom, and 10 years later, in 1926, a scientist named Schrödinger discovered clouds of different types of energy inside the atom. Discovered what was a theory 200 years ago is a reality today, and we all know the structure of the atom today, even though it is not possible for the eye to see it today. A similar theory was introduced in 1960 called string theory. Before I go into the details, I think it's important to clarify one thing. Human movement can be forward and backward, right and left, up and down, which is called 3 dimensions or 3D. Our world is trapped within these 3 dimensions and we cannot get out of it. But according to string theory, there are 11 more dimensions. I will tell you what is possible in these 11 dimensions. If you are in the first dimension, you will be able to move back and forth. If you enter the second dimension, you will be able to move back and forth and left and right. In the third dimension, you will be able to move back and forth, right and left and up and down in all directions, and this is our world, or what we call our world. Will be able. Upon entering the 5th dimension, you will be able to move out of this world and into another world, such as the spirit world. In the 6th dimension, you will be able to move in 2 or more worlds, and the world of souls and the world of Barzakh comes to my mind along with the world of causes. The 7th dimension will enable you to go to the world that existed before the creation of the universe, that is, before the Big Bang. The 8th dimension will be able to take you to different worlds even before creation. The 9th dimension will be a set of universes in which the laws of physics will be completely different from each other. One day there may be equal to our 50,000 years. And the last and 10th dimensions. Everything you can imagine, whatever you can think of, and whatever you can imagine, will be possible in this dimension. And in my personal opinion, heaven. Perhaps there is a place beyond this dimension, because the Hadith Qudsi Prophet Muhammad told Allah says that in heaven my servant will have something that no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard of, and no thought ever crossed his mind. And in another place it also comes that whatever my servant desires there will come before him. Certainly jinns are beings of dimensions above us, and this is the second scientific reason why we cannot see them. After learning about these 10 dimensions, you can understand why the Quran, Islamic holy book, tells us about jinn, invisible creature, that they see you from where you do not see them, or how a monster can travel so fast. As mentioned in Surah Saba, Holy Quran's chapter, a monster, a jinn, claimed to have brought the throne of Queen Bilqis before Hazrat Solomon, or why gravity doesn't affect them and they fly. Or many other questions like the world of Barzakh, where the souls go, or the world of souls where before creation Allah Almighty made a covenant with all souls that you will not worship anyone else, and all of them consciously confessed, or how will the day be different on the day of judgment, or in what world is the life of martyrs possible. It is one thing to think of all these worlds, i.e. the world of Barzakh, the world of spirits, or the world of jinn, but what touched my heart personally is the opening verse of Surah Al-Fatiha. Praise be to God, Lord of the worlds. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. And I think the effect of the words, all the world, on my heart now is something I've never felt before. Thanks for watching. Jazakallah khair Kathir.